Right, hello everybody. It's the 13th of March, and this is our monthly live Q&A session. I hope everyone's well. So, a little bit of an update where I'm at the moment. So, I've had one of them days where I feel like you don't stop. It's been a very productive day. I've got a lot done. So we've got Pirate Week at daycare. We've had a visit from a real pirate as well. So it's great. Really handsome pirate as well, if I do say so myself. So we've had a visit from a pirate. We had our sense space designed round like with a piratey theme. So I bought a little like toy like a wooden like sand pitty box thing shaped in a pirate. Filled it with ball pit balls. There's sand with bones and things like just 10 bones, obviously, for the dogs to have a dig around in, and a few various other things as well. But the dogs have loved it today. It's been good. Obviously, they get the school photos. We've been playing a couple of different treasure hunt games on our adventures and on our school trips as well. So it's been really good in that respect. I've had quite a lot of jobs that have been on my list for a while, and I thought I really need to try and get through some of these lists, some of these jobs. So that's what I've been doing. I've ticked. I'm looking at me list as I'm saying it, and I've ticked quite a lot off. And I'm like, oh, actually, I have done quite a lot today. So that's good. I also have. I think I've mentioned to you guys. In April, we have our first guest speaker, a lady called Jo, who's going to be coming to do a talk on tea touch treatment. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know a lot about it either. Okay, but she is a veterinary nurse. Tea touch is something that was introduced, I think, 40 years ago. So it's not something new, but it's not something that many people are aware of, not something that many people use. But she uses it a lot for lead training. She uses it a lot for anxious dogs, for nervous dogs. So when she got in touch with us, I thought this will be really, really beneficial for you guys. I'm going to learn something new as well. So I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about it. You're asking the wrong person there, Kate. Kate, is T Touch the same as Tellington touched him? We don't know. Honest, I'm going to be learning something new as well when I come. So we'll see. Actually, just before I started the Q&A, I got an email from her and she's give us a leaflet on exactly what it is. She was when I had the phone call with her, she was telling us a lot about it, and I was like, "Wow, this sounds really interesting." And she said she was going to send us some information. She's sent that now, so I'm going to have a read through it, and I'll pop an email to you guys tomorrow so you know a little bit more about it. But I believe it is. I mean, it's in the club anyway, but it is for. Yeah, Monday the 17th of April, at 6 o'clock. So I'll be in charge of sending out the links and things like that. And then I'll hand you over to Jo as well. Like I say, I'm going to be learning something too. So it's all exciting. It's always good to learn something. When we've got Hannah going to be doing she'll be our next guest speaker. She's the Queen of Dental, so she has many qualifications in canine dental surgery. Well, canine feline dental surgery. So I thought she would be really good. She's a lovely friend of mine as well too. And it's only costing us some lunch, so that's all right. I can do that. So I'm going to go and see her in a couple of weeks, and I'm treating that to lunch. And then yeah, she's going to do a lovely talk. It's all about just obviously promoting dental hygiene and things like that, and hopefully saving you guys some money down the line. And then in August, I think it is, we have a lovely lady called Gabriella coming to do a talk, and she's going to be talking a lot about like happy minds. So how you guys can how your minds kind of affect our dogs' minds as well too, if that makes sense. So a happier you, a happier dog, so to speak. All right. I'm just waiting for her to put a little bio together of herself, and then I'll send that over to you guys as well too. But that's the guest speakers that I've got lined up so far. I've got a few more planned, hopefully for the back end of the year as well. But we've got plenty of different things to look forward to. I have finished the next telecast for the end of the month. So that's going to be on the Wednesday now, on the instead of Monday the 27th. because I stupidly booked it in on my daughter's birthday. And just didn't even realize I just put it in the diary. I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then I was like, oh, I'll have booked it off. I'll have definitely booked her birthday off. And then I looked in the diary and I was like, no, I did not book her birthday off. So I'm managing to get away with obviously the daytime appointments because Darcy's at school. So that's fine. I can do them. But I had to block off the diary from 3 o'clock. So I'm there for afternoon tea and things like that. So yeah. So luckily I had a gap on the Wednesday night, so it was all sorted. And I know there was a couple of but it will be recorded, and it's a really good one actually. I'm looking forward to this one. Well done to obviously Archie and Alfie, who've done so well with the Scentworth challenge so far this month. It's been honestly, I've loved watching it, especially just watching what you can. Although you can't see the noses like twitching, you can see, if you know what I mean. You can see that they're at work. They're doing the hardest to find it. It's been really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else's progress as well too. Obviously, we've still got plenty of time left. I next week I'm going. I'm actually traveling down to Derbyshire on Sunday. Someone wants me to train their dog down in Derbyshire, so I'm going to stay down there a couple of nights and help them. They've got a reactive whippet. They actually got my details from someone in London, who I didn't have a clue who that person was either. So, and they rang me and they were like, "Oh, you've been recommended from a friend in London." I was like, "Oh, London? Who is this friend?" And they told us, I was like, "I don't have a clue who this person is." So I don't know where they got my details from, but yeah, so I'm going to Derbyshire anyway. So what I was thinking about doing though is on my way back, I'm thinking about doing like a bit of a case study, which I'm going to just kind of record. I'll probably just like set the phone up on, like, put it on the passenger seat as I start driving, and then spend the 2 hours talking to myself on the phone. But I'm going to do like a case study, and I'm going to put that within the group as well. And I thought moving forward, any kind of unusual cases that I work with as well, I'm going to do a bit of a case study for as well. So it'll just be like the voice, more of a voice thing, but things that you can listen to in the car or things like that. And hopefully you'll find them useful. But that's something I'm planning on doing as well too. Okay. Tomorrow I have interviews because all my staff are leaving us. They're all abandoning me in my hour of need. No, they're all off to go and do bigger and better things. So a couple of them are starting their own dog walking business, which the very best of luck with as well too. They're great lasses, and I know it's something they've been wanting to do for a while. So I wish them the very best of luck. But we've got some really new, great members of staff as well. So I'm looking forward to having a fresh start, so to speak, as well. So, right, moving forward onto the questions for this evening. I've got my first one from Nicola, which I'll go through now. And then if anyone else has any questions afterwards, just fire them away. I'm just going to quickly read this back. Let's have a look. Kate said, if it is Telling in Touch, has read some amazing articles about it and how it can calm down animals, not just dogs. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it will be this T-Touch. I am interested in it. I'm really interested in it. It's not something I've ever looked into myself. When Joe started telling us about it, I thought, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go, and it could be beneficial. She wanted to actually come and do it, an actual afternoon, like talk with clients, and I was like, oh, let's start with the webinar first. I've tried doing kind of afternoony talk things before, and it never quite went very well, really. Just there's not enough numbers coming through the doors. So I was like, let's try a webinar first and see what the response is, and then if she's good, then we can look at doing something further down the line as well too. It's also said we've been a little behind with Bronte in the scent training because her original toys that I made have turned out to be useless. Today I've made 7 new ones which are currently festering in Oregano, and hopefully will be ready for use tomorrow. Champion, good stuff. Go on with Freddie and Dixie, actually. Sorry, I am going to move on to the questions soon, but you should know by now when I start talking, I can't stop. So, go on with Freddie and Dixie. I seen her last week, she was laughing. She was like, I laugh, you send us out this lovely little jar of oregano, and then in your webinar, you say you need at least 30 grams. She was like, I weighed it out and there was like 8 grams in there. I was like, well, I may have slightly over exaggerated. So that I'm going to put the blame on Rebecca anyway, because Rebecca found these great test tubes. And she was like, look, order these test tubes. It'll look really good. I was like, oh, yeah, that's good. So I just followed her advice. You know, you should always listen to women. That's what they say. Followed her advice. And then these tiny little jars came. I was like, oh, well, they'll have to do. She was right with the big, I mean, well, saying that, it made us order this giant bag of oregano as well, which I'm never going to get through. So, yeah, who knows? So, but no, yes, it was still a nice little thing. But yeah, you need to add a little bit more to it if you haven't already realised that by now. Right, on to the Q&As. Right. So I'm going to just read out Nicola's question. I printed it out. I've got it to hand as well, just so I look a little bit more organised as well. Right. So my question is, when I'm visiting my mum and dad, they have sensors on the doors that beep when an external door is open. Murphy knows what the beep means and can go from a sleep position to a devil dog in under a second and be racing to the back door. This wouldn't be a problem if he liked people, but we all know Murph takes time to warm up to people and will tell them if he doesn't like them, which is very true. My mum's friends and family don't knock, they always just walk in and they forget when Murph is there to knock. So it is a mad dash to try and catch him before he lunges on anyone. Baby gates don't fit in my mum's doors, and they push open so Murphy can open the doors himself, even if they are closed. Is there anything we can practice before we go to dim his reactions and also whilst we are there? I'll add, this part doesn't need to be added, but I'm going to say it anyway. I swear he likes to give me grey hairs. So, with this particular one, it is going to be difficult because, for one, it's not obviously his normal environment. It's not his normal home. Okay. It's very similar with the daycare. We have a beep when the door opens, and we could have peace and quiet for hours and hours. As soon as that beep goes, all hell's going to break loose and every dog's going to start barking. Okay. They learn very quickly what that particular noise means. So, what I would potentially advise is going back to what we discussed in last month's Q&A with the place command. Okay, so having the place command. Now, honestly, I don't know how successful it'll be. It depends how long you're going to be at your mum and dad's for. I don't know how successful it will be because with everything, practice is what makes perfect. Okay, if you can kind of mimic the sensor noises at home, it might potentially help when you go up to your mum and dad's as well. But what you would do is you would use the place command to be a place that you would send them to when that beeper noise goes, when the sensor noise goes. So what we're doing is we're changing his association. So instead of him making a mad dot dash towards the door, instead he's going to associate to go to his mat. Now to do that, you would have to practice, okay, without any visitors. So just like we did last month, where we talked about pressing the doorbell and then sending him back to his place, you would do exactly the same with this method as well too. So you would open the door so the sensor goes, and then you just kind of stand still, wait till he calms down, and then send him to his place. Once he's on his place, he gets a reward for doing so. So that could be something like a chicken foot or something of extra high value. It could just be a couple of little high value treats, whatever it is. Okay, but you would practice that so that he eventually realizes when that goes, he's not going to get anything unless you take it, unless he goes to his place. So Jill's just said, can you record the sound of the sensor to use at home, which is a great idea. There is a app available. It's Amy's puppy app. So Amy is the puppy queen from Australia, and she developed an app which I'm just going to get the name for. I should know this because I recommend it all the time. Puppy sounder, Amy Smith. Soundproof puppy training. So soundproof puppy training it's basically something that that Amy developed to get dogs used to certain sounds. So she is from Australia, and where she lived, there was always like lots of noise, background noise, and things like that. And so she decided to create this app with various different sounds on, but you can actually record things on it as well too, which is what I really like. So you can record them digital, it goes straight on your phone. So that's a really good suggestion from Jill. Can you record the sound? If you can record it, then it means you can be practicing at home with it as well too. Whenever it goes, it's not going to be as realistic as obviously being at your mum and dad's with that realistic sound. And obviously, if people come in and go hi, that's not going to help methods as well too. But that would be a starting point. But again, to get to that, you're going to have to practice. So you're going to have to practice when there's no visitors around. He'll obviously, I know you've been working with the bed command and things I've seen in last month's challenge, so well done on that one. So yeah, so we he knows what it is. We just need to make sure that he kind of associates the sound of the sensor with the fact he needs to go there. Okay, so do it without any visitors to begin with, and then try doing it with visitors coming. Again, we need to try and time it so that we know when the visitors are coming. So we need to try and get your mum and dad to say, you just have a word with them and say, let us know when you're coming, just so that we can be ready. So even if it's just 10 minutes warning, so you can put a long line on him as well too, if needs be, or like your indoor training lead. So just if he does make a mad dash, you can quickly put your foot on the lead as well. Something else you could potentially try as well is at the back door, just having like a pot of treats or something. We know how well we know he's food orientated. I know even with the new members of staff here at daycare, he's decided that he wasn't too keen on them. As soon as they throw treats down to him, he's like, oh, all right then, yeah, I'll eat these treats and then I'll come back for you. But it means that you've then got a little bit of a window of opportunity for you to be able to go and get him, so to speak. So if there's a pot of treats at the door, just say to every visitor, right, that's fine, continue what you're doing, walk in, but grab them treats. Otherwise, he's going to grab your ankles. Make sure you grab the treats, throw them down on the ground, okay, and keep throwing them till you get in. And then hopefully that might just ease someone coming in a little bit more. And again, it's all about creating that positive association. So he's still going to associate people coming in as something positive rather than something negative. The best method is obviously sending them to that place command. That's the best method. But the logistics behind trying to train them to do that, if you say only going to be at your mum and dad's for a week, that's going to be a little bit tricky. But it's certainly something that you can be practicing, as Jill said. If you can try and get the sound as well too, if you can mimic, if you can get something similar that you can just have that you can press here. I know like you can get various doorbells that all sound the same and things like that. If you can order something for at the house to try and train them to it before you go up to your mum and dad's, or the other option is have the high value treats at the door so that they can toss them down, and then maybe have a Kong ready as well. So once they've done the tossing down of the treats, you can hand them the Kong, right? Give them that, and that's going to keep him occupied, and he can then take that off to his bed, get used to having the visitor around as well. It's fairly similar to what you would be doing when you're at your house, when you've got visitors coming round. Obviously, with your house, you've got a little bit more control in the fact that people will knock on the door. You can say to people, "This is my house, knock on my door." It's harder when you've got obviously people that are just doing things like that as well. So I think that's going to add to the pressure a little bit. And likewise, having the indoor line on him as well. There's no hardship in having an indoor line on him. He doesn't mind it. It's not the end of the world. It just means you've got that little. Does that all make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I know sadly it's not a quick fix. I mean, you'll have realised with Murphy now, nothing's ever going to be a quick fix. So, but anything like this, even if you've got like a friendly dog, not like he is friendly, he's lovely, Murphy. I don't want to portray him in a bad light. He's a lovely dog, but even if you've got like the most sociable dog in the world, that when they hear the door and they make a mad dash, it's still going to equally take just as long to train them as it would training a dog that might potentially react as well too. Yeah. So yes, we know Murphy can be tricky at times, but whether he's tricky or whether he's not tricky, that particular style of training, trying to desensitize them and change their association to doing something else can be quite tricky. Yeah. Cool. Right. I'm just going to read what was in the chat, and then we'll ask anyone else if anyone else has. Frontier started to revert back to trying to destroy the back door mat and books on shelves. We try to shut her out of these rooms where possible, but she doesn't seem to be learning the no command despite being given more positive alternatives. Not sure how to change this behaviour. Could it be just her going through adolescence? or should we be doing something else? Yeah, she will definitely be going through her adolescence. She's definitely going to be now trying to push her boundaries and see what she can and can't get away with. Now, one thing that pointed out to me straight away there was you saying no to her. So from her point of view, when I get attention, I'll repeat this behavior again. Obviously, we don't want her destroying the books and things like that. So I get where you're coming from, and it can be frustrating. But as soon as you give her attention for it, there's going to be a little flick in her light in her head that thinks, I'm going to repeat that behavior because I know it gets as a response. Okay, and I know you wouldn't do this, but even if you were to smack 7 bells out of her, she's still going to get attention. So she'll still repeat that behavior again. Because although it's not the desired attention that she wants, it's still attention. So she'll therefore repeat that behavior again and again and again. Okay, the best thing to do is when you take her into their rooms, give her an alternative. So rather than opening the rooms and thinking, oh no, she's going to go for the books, have something ready. Okay, so when we open that door, she goes in the room. The first thing we're going to do is maybe a training session, or we're going to get a toy out. We're going to engage in some playtime. Okay, if she starts chewing on the books, just walk out as calmly as you can. Go into another room, make a commotion like with I don't know, rattle some pots or something to get our attention to hopefully leave the books. You can get the bitter sprays and things like that, but some dogs really like the taste of them. So some dogs it works wonders for, others they really, really like the taste for. But I do think she is at that age now where she's going to be pushing her boundaries, where she's going to be trying different things to get your attention. The main thing to focus on is to keep focusing on the positives. Do you remember we talked about the Smart 50? Did you see the webinar where we talked about the Smart 50 with the lead training, when we talked about impulse control and having the 50 tweets? Go back to that as well and make sure that you're using them tweets to focus and concentrate on praising the good behaviors as well too. The problem is and we're all guilty of it, we focus on the negatives and we think, right, they're doing this, how do we stop it? The answers are sometimes just so easy. Ignore it, put your efforts into praising the good and the desired behaviors, and then behaviors will get repeated and repeated and repeated again and again and again, because she's going to learn this is what gets me something. It seems to be just when we are in a different room to her, she'll take herself into the other room to cause trouble. So chances are she's probably just waiting for you to come and give her the attention. So it might just be a case of thinking, right, well, when we're in one room, make sure the rooms where the books are in or the things that you can destroy, just try and keep the doors shut just for now, just so that you we don't want to kind of obviously reduce the space that she's got, but it just means that you've got you can keep a more beady eye on her, so to speak, and you can stop her from doing these things, and then you can keep her occupied with more things like more brain games, training sessions, and things like that. I think obviously, hopefully as well, once we get her more engaged with the scent work, that's going to tire her out massively as well too. That's going to really burn some energy off her, and it's a great form of stimulation. So hopefully that will help as well. I would say keep the doors shut. If she's going into other rooms, then just try and keep her focused on the room you're in. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. But yeah, the adolescent stage isn't fun. They all go through it. Thankfully, it's not as long as it is in the human world. It only lasts a couple of months. However, if they learn something in that adolescent stage, that will continue with them. So if she learns, if I go into books, I'm going to get attention. When she's out of her adolescence, that's not going to disappear. She's going to think, I know this still works and I'm going to do it. Now, you may find that you could put all these new things in place, and she goes like days and days where she's being what we would class as really good, but then she'll test you. Okay, she's going to test you and think, I wonder what will happen if I chew this book. And if she's got a week, say, where she hasn't chewed the book, and then after a week she just goes to it and has a little nibble, and you're straight away, no, oh, it still works. I still get attention. Yeah, I'm going to repeat this behavior again because I know it's going to work. Yeah, so you've got to remember that, all right? That's why I say have the Smart 50, okay? Seeing, marking, and rewarding that desired behavior, okay? Have your 50 treats around the house that every time she's doing something that you want repeated, make sure you're ready to praise her for it. Okay, it'll just actively make you focus more on the good behaviors or the desired behaviors, and hopefully over time them less desirable behaviors will slowly start to disappear as well. Okay, and so you happy with that one? Yep, great. Did anyone else have any questions? Helen, Jill?
Yes, I've got a question.
Go for it.
So Tina does this thing when she's playing, and I don't think it's acceptable behaviour.
Okay.
And she does it with Murphy as well, and you know Murphy's her best friend.
Yeah.
So when she's not getting attention from a dog she wants to play with, she'll mouth on the back of their neck.
Right, okay.
Now, I don't like that. I don't think it's acceptable. Murphy was very tolerant of her when we took them to the play park the other week, but he was telling her off when he didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get her to stop that? She gets very, very excited about wanting to play it. I don't wind her up. She just naturally gets she's really, really pleased sort of to see Murphy. She was pleased at Doggy Club the other week. I think it was Elsa, the golden retriever.
Oh, yeah.
But she was jumping on Elsa's back. She was a very nice dog. First time we've met her, jumping on her back and then mouthing at the back of her neck. But like I say, she does it with Murphy as well. So she's doing it with everybody to say, play with me.
Yeah, and she's obviously learned as well too that this gets her a response as well too. Even if it's a dog turn and having a snack at her, from her point of view, it's still a form of attention. The problem is that particular behaviour would be cast as self-rewarding, because as soon as the other dog plays with her, she's getting the reward. She's getting what she wants for it. So that's going to be very difficult to try and train out of her, because again, you can't always predict when she's going to do it as well. So that would be more of a case of, if she sees that when she's out and about and she sees other dogs and she gets excited, you need to try and make yourself more exciting so that she chooses to come to you instead, rather than trying to mouth. It's I'm not going to lie, Helen, that's not going to be something quick and easy that you can kind of fix as well, because she's getting rewarded for it. It's like if
she was fine when, so it lasted. I mean, Nicola Nicola was there as well. Mm-hmm. So it lasted about half an hour. We were there for like 50 minutes. And the first half an hour, she was doing it quite a lot because she was really pleased. But once she calmed down and we took a ball launcher and we got her to do that. And Murphy had done, I think Nicola's started playing in the sandpit. I'm on my phone, so I can't see the rest of what she's written. So we were doing things like that to try and take our mind off it and try and calm her down. Mm-hmm. Is that, if we just got to keep doing things like that?
At the beginning, so if it's just at the beginning where she's like overly excited, like, wait, I need to play, then focus her mind onto something else. So you're kind of taking away the initial energy of her, and then hopefully once that initial energy is gone, she'll be just at the calmer level. I think she's just like, when she sees other dogs, she's like a kid that's had like 10 packets of Haribo, and she's just like, oh, hey, I'm so excited. And the mouthing is just her way of kind of getting attention as well. Like, Murphy does it as well. Like, Murphy is an ankle nipper, but Murphy will do it as well to dogs when he wants attention. He'll ankle bite the people he's not happy with as well, but also likewise, Murphy will ankle bite when he wants attention. And as soon as he gets attention, it's self-reward, and he's learned, this works. I'm going to repeat this behavior. And I think with Tina, that's exactly the same as well. She's going to learn that behavior gets her a response. So if she's responding well with like the ball launcher and playing in the sand and things like that, then use these things to your advantage. Remember when we did the Ready Steady Recall course and we had like a number of different games and things like that? Try and get her focused on one of them games just to get rid of some of that initial energy, and then you can look at starting to and then once that initial energy is gone, hopefully then she'll be a lot calmer. But again, going back to that smart 50 as well, if she is calm around other dogs, reward her for it, to keep giving her treats so she can say, oh, all right, okay, when I've got all four paws on the ground, when I'm around another dog, I get something. If I jump up with her mouth, I'm not going to get anything from my mum. I might still get something from the dog. So it's still going to be rewarding, but she's not getting anything from you as well, if that makes sense. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a tricky one because it's like a dog that counter surfs. If you leave a steak on the bench and the dog jumps up at the bench and eats the steak, dog thinks, champion, I'm going to do that again because
Yeah.
it's easy. I can do it and I know it works. It's the same with Bronte. Bronte, I'm going to chew on books. I'm going to get attention. I'm going to repeat it. A lot of these behaviors that dogs display are self-rewarding because they automatically get rewarded for it. So with Tina, she's getting rewarded by mouthing because the other dog will turn around and play. Even, like I say, even if the dog's turning around and snacking at her, from her point of view, it was still worth going in for it because she's still getting the attention for it.
The only good thing about Murphy being little is if we're in an area where there's like utility equipment, agility, sorry, not utility, Murphy hides in all the little hidey holes. But so then that calms her down as well, though, because she doesn't know where he's gone.
Yeah.
He does do it as a game. He's not scared. He does it as a game. It's quite funny. But she gets really confused. She's like, "Where's Murphy gone? Where's Murphy gone?" So
it probably is just that build up of excitement as well. Like when she first sees him, obviously we know how much she loves Murphy. When she first sees him, she's like, "Wow, I'm so excited," because she's only ever really associated positive things with Murphy as well too. So it's always been a fun and enjoyable experience for her. So yeah, I would say when you first go anywhere with Murphy, whether it be Pooch Club, whether it be out and about, wherever it may be, just look at trying to get some energy off her beforehand, getting her focus on you a little bit more. Once you've kind of spent 5-10 minutes with her, then hopefully she should have calmed herself down, and then hopefully she'll be ready just to mix back in again as well. But I wouldn't be overly worried about it. All dogs have their own little ways of kind of inviting play as well too. Like I say, Murphy can ankle bite sometimes when he wants to play. You've got other dogs that'll hang off other dogs' ears. So it's normal for them to kind of have their own little character and unique ways of trying to get another dog to play as well. I appreciate it's frustrating for you, but it is self-rewarding as well. So it's difficult to train out a self-rewarding behavior unless you can give her an alternative. So as soon as you arrive with, say, at the field where you're going with Murphy, as soon as you arrive, your job then would be to focus on getting her to do something else. So focused on you. And then once you've got that initial energy offer, then you can start introducing that to Murphy. Again, if you do this month's challenge with the scent work as well too, I think that'll be really, really beneficial, especially if you go to the Wonderful World of Dogs and Norden Valley and things like that. You can get her to do some scent work as well, and that'll massively tire her out. And it'll be great fun as well too.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
So, well, does that all help?
You what, sorry?
Does that all help?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's just, they love each other, and it would be a shame if it was spoiled because of her doing that and, playing too rough.
Yeah.
I don't want them to, spoil being friends because they love each other a lot. So it's just if we can do something now to stop it.
Stop it. Well, give that a go and see how you get on. If you can calm her down for that initial 10 minutes, then I think after that, I think we'll be okay. I think we just need to try and get that initial 10 minutes calmed down out the way. So yeah, and there's so many things you can do. You can do trick training, you can do scent work, you can play a game with her, lots of different things. Remember, just going back to that, what motivates her. Okay, so thinking about the motivation, what we can use from everything that we've learned being a member and the courses that we've done, what we can go away and take and practice with her and use outside as well too.
Okay.
Just from my point of view, Bronte's a little bit like that as well, except that she just doesn't do it with her friends. She thinks like any dog that's up for play is keen on having her jumping on their backs and mouthing and things like that. So, she's very exuberant with her play. So, we're in a similar sort of situation in the sense of like trying to restrain that and sort of trying to distract her and redirect her play with something else. So it's not easy though, and I get what you're saying about it can be embarrassing sometimes as well, because it's almost, I think I made the joke the other week about Craig coming back in and saying Bronte was an Asbo dog, And it's that sort of thing, isn't it? Where they almost become that little bit antisocial. They're not being aggressive. It's just they're being too OTT in their play, and they don't know the limits. And it's just trying to find, and that's the difficulty, isn't it? It's trying to find that limit.
Yes.
Because playing with another dog is again, just these words again, it's self-rewarding. They get a lot of enjoyment from playing with other dogs. But that's why we need to look at having ways to be able to distract them, to get them away from the other dogs as well. There's nothing wrong with them playing with other dogs. They should be allowed to socialize if they want to. Not all dogs want to, and that's absolutely fine. But we need to make sure that we're the number one. So no matter where we are, no matter who we're with, whether you're with your best friend, whether there's 10 other dogs in the park, we need to make sure that we're the number one. Okay, and it's hard at times as well. It is hard. I'll hold my hands up. There's been a couple of times I've taken my eye off the ball. I've been out with all the kids and I've got the dogs off lead. One dog will nick off whilst I'm trying to pick up a child that fell over off the scooter or something like that. And then you have to go and get the dog back or do something to try and get them. But there's always ways to get them back. You've just got to know what motivates your dog. And that's something that we've talked about in all the courses that we've done, in many of the teleclasses that we've done as well. Finding something that motivates your dog is what you need when it comes to being outside. You've got a dog that is overly excited as well, and lacks that impulse control, then we need to do some impulse control work as well too. The more impulse control work we do, again, the calmer they're going to be as well. Okay, so I hope that answers everyone's question on that one. Jill, what about you guys? Did you have a question? No? Unmute yourself. Go on, unmute yourself, so just so I can chat to you, because I'd feel bad if I didn't chat to you.
No, I haven't got any questions, I don't think, tonight.
No, well, that's good.
He's doing quite well this week. The walking outside's really coming on to him.
Well,
We've
good.
been back and forward along that path this week around the estate, so it's still baby steps. We're still
there,
right the way around, but we are getting there. We can see improvements definitely with him.
Perfect.
And his searching is fab.
It is. It's video. Yeah, I was about the moment on videos.
We've done the toys today, like what Jill was saying.
Yeah.
I've got some videos. So he's done really, really well. But when his favourite 2 tug toys went on the floor, it was, oh my God, I didn't think he was going to do it, but we just didn't say anything. And I think it was like the penny dropped. He was sniffing the tugs, he was picking them up. Then I think it was a case of he thought, well, I'm not saying anything, I'm not getting praise for it. So he did go for the scented one and brought that back. So
right.
That's why he's so tired. That's why he's sitting here between the two of work, just being a good boy, bless him, because he's absolutely shattered. It's really tiring him out, Tim. It's amazing.
Good. It's so good, isn't it? I absolutely love scent work. It's my favourite thing. What I loved in the videos as well is the fact that you thought outside the box as well, and you had the toys hidden up a height as well. I loved that he actually was looking up and trying to find them as well. And I think that kind of proves a point of how good a dog's sense of smell is. Yes. The fact that they can smell when they're up there, they're not just focusing with their eyes, like many people would think. They are actually engaged with their nose, and the fact that he can identify that smell. I mean, I wouldn't be able to smell how we're going outside if it was that. Even if it was under my nose, I wouldn't be able to smell it. But the fact that he's able to identify that is really, really impressive. And I was over the moon to see how well he was doing as well. I was actually showing Rebecca. I don't actually show Rebecca much when it comes to work. But I was like, you need to look at this. I was like, this is just amazing. Look at this. I always have to show Darcy Murphy because the Nicholas Darcy's teacher, so I always have to show anything Murphy does. I have to show it to Darcy because she always asks. But no, I was showing Rebecca and I was like, look at how good he's doing, and even she was like, wow, you can see how engaged he is. And then she looked at the Whippets and went, why don't you do anything good like that?
I was absolutely amazed. I was amazed by it, Jill.
Yeah, it is, and it has to be instinctive. But I think this is part of the problem we've got when we've got him out, that he doesn't engage because his nose is working constantly.
Yeah.
And whether it be animals, birds, it fascinates us that we can be out. And if he sees, you just know he switches off and he's looking, and then the bird will fly past and you think, he's picked that up. He knows before we even see the bird. So,
Clever. But the thing that we're doing now, though, by doing this scent work, we're giving them an alternative.
Yeah.
So we're giving them now the opportunity to display this behaviour, and we're doing it in a more desirable way. It might be worth, especially when you go to Orden Valley and things like that, taking the toy there and hiding it somewhere and trying to get him to find it as well.
We've got a cottage book the back end of March. We're going away for his birthday. And there's a secure garden there. Now I'm curious to be able to take the things with her.
Yeah.
To see what he's like, totally new environment, new garden. And will he still pick up when we hide that toy?
That would be really interesting to see, wouldn't it?
I'll update you all.
Yeah, definitely do. And I'm guessing, obviously, my invite got lost in the post to the cottage. Yeah.
I think all of our invites got lost in the post.
I mean, if you were really nice, we could have had like a Sundancers holiday. Sundancers on tour.
I mean, I honestly think, Jill, that what you're showing with Archie now, you just seem to be really tapping into his natural skill. And I think, you know, I mean, we all know that, so like spaniels and dogs like that have that, they seem to just be naturally adept at scent work. And for all, any dog can be. But I think you just seem to be tapping into that skill. And yes, it's early days, but from what you did in the garden, I was amazed at, you know, how he literally, it was like watching a probationer police dog in, you know, going out and doing that initial search and seeing his reaction, you know, when it was up on the wall or the fence rather. I think you can, I mean, for me, I'm a novice, but it looks as though you can, you know, you've really got what it takes to tap into that natural ability for him. I wouldn't be surprised to find that that's his natural, real skill.
Yeah. And I know he is still young. I think that's the thing.
How old is he, Jill?
He's 2. He's just turned 2. So I think expectation-wise, I still think I expected it would be further on with him. But I think because of lockdown and everything else, and as my first dog, I've got nobody to compare Arch with. But I do think from getting involved with him, we're definitely seeing improvements. So, you know,
like the dog you've got, especially the people that I work with, so many people would wish for a dog like that, a 2-year-old. So the fact that you are new dog owners, this is amazing. Like the things that you've achieved with him. Like I was so impressed. So when I seen the videos indoors, I was like, oh, bless him, he's doing really well. But then like a day or two later, and it was in the garden, I was like, what? He's doing really well. This is incredible. Like it's so good. And I know every other dog on this in the club as well is going to be able to achieve these things as well. And just practice makes perfect. And honest, I can't stress enough how important scent work is. Like scent work is just up there with everything. It's one of the most important things that you can give a dog because it's something that they love doing. They all love doing it. They all love using their nose. It's what they use. It's their main sense. It doesn't matter what breed of dog it is. Their main sense is always going to be their nose as well too. They love engaging with their nose as well.
Yeah.
So well.
I think it's inspiring. I think what you're doing with Archie is really inspiring for us all. You know, we have our own issues with Bronte because of her initial upbringing when she was a very young pup. You know, obviously she had our older dog here who didn't like us, so that delayed things. So what I see you doing now with Archie is really inspiring because we have our own set of issues because of her, I want to say, delayed development and freedom to grow. So you know what you're doing, it's an inspiration. I think you should be really rightly proud.
Oh, thank you.
You should all be proud of yourselves. You've all done so. You've all done so well. Like I'm obviously I love. This is my job, but I honestly I love sitting on a night time, going through my phone on Facebook and watching your videos. I absolutely love. Well, sometimes I watch us when I'm in the bath, actually. So if I'm going to be completely honest with you,
Oh, that's a bad thought,
We
Tim.
don't too much information, Tim.
we're all friends now. We can share. No, but I love watching the videos. I love going through them. It's always like and you're right. It's inspirational, Kate. It's lovely to see how far you have progressed, and obviously we're just scratching the surface. We're not even 3 full months into this new club. We've got so much more to work through as well. I've got so many ideas that I can't wait to kind of unleash with you guys as well. I just don't want to give you too much too soon, because well, then I'll run out of things to teach us. No, I won't. I'll always have something new, but I don't want to overwhelm you. So I want to do it in little steps. But I think the way we're going is going really, really well. And yeah, everyone should be so proud of yourselves. Like,
And I think particularly because, you know, a lot of us who join in with these, you know, all of our dogs have their own little quirks and issues, and trying to overcome those, you know, they're frustrating when you don't have the guidance, and sort of you really flounder knowing quite what to do, and you want to do the right thing. Quite often you end up doing the wrong thing. So I think, you know, for us to all be able to see and the successes that each of us are getting, you know, at the different stages, no matter how small, you know, they can be, you know, I know, you know, seeing you know, Nicola with Murphy with the tricks, you know, in the trick course, and you know, it's wonderful to see. And I think, you know, because we all have our own little quirky dogs, you know, this is why it's so good.
I'm going to promote Kate to inspirational speaker. She's an inspirational speaker of the group.
I think it is, because I think when you're out and about, everybody, you're out and about, and everybody wants to give you advice. And I think that's a valid point, Kate, because I think before we got in contact with Tim, I didn't know I was at the stage where it was everybody was telling us what we shouldn't be doing with Archie. And it was a case of, you know, people are saying, for God's sake, he's a dog, of course you can take him out for a walk. But like that first time Tim came here and you saw how distressed he was trying to get him out that front door, I'm sorry, they could not advise us really, because it was horrific what some people are saying. I would do this and I would do that, but you've got to go with your instinct, and you know your dog, and you are thinking, I can't put him through that, no way. So yes, he still gets really, really excitable at times, and we've got to be careful where other dogs are concerned. And then I feel guilty because I think, should he mix more with dogs, etc. But I just don't think he's at that stage yet. He does get so, it's still that sensory overload. But I feel now, for the first time in God love him in his 2 years there, that we can see he's progressing, and we will get there. Definitely we'll get there at his pace when he's ready for it.
Yeah. And I think for me,
Vice President goes to jail.
You what?
Yeah.
Vice President speaker goes to jail.
Yeah, but you're right though, Till. I mean, you know, to a certain extent, we've got a little bit with Bronte at the moment, because, you know, she loves dogs, yes, and I've spoken obviously to Tim about, you know, how she gets frustrated because she wants to go and greet every dog.
Yeah.
So that's resulted in a slight reactivity sometimes when she's passing dogs. So it's like slowly but surely, yes, we've now got to the point where if a dog's calm walking towards her, she's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
If a dog's playing, slightly different rounds matter.
Yeah.
So we have to start looking at other methods to try and distract her from it. And you're right, it's going at their own pace, you know, because you want to do what's right for them, because you want to be the best they can be. And there's nothing wrong in, you know, if they need to be on the lead for that little bit longer and a little bit more work to keep them calm. For me, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. You know, I've spoken to some people when I'm out where she goes a little bit OTT with her barking and wanting to play. And it's particularly when they want to play, she goes, whoa, that's it, I want to be out there. And she goes crackers. So if she needs to go back on the lead and walk the other way, so be it.
Yeah. My dogs can get overly excited. If I'm not if I'm not in there quick enough, if I'm
Yeah.
focused on the kids, if I do miss something, they will bark at another dog if they want to go and say hello to it. They're not reactive; they
Mhm.
just want to go and
Mhm.
say hello to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always need to be ready, and it's hard, even like for me as well. Sometimes when I'm walking with 4 kids and I've got the dogs as well, it can be really really difficult. So
Mhm.
just as I'm there with you guys as well, like.
Mhm.
I mean, I call my dog shits all the time. No, that's just it's me. Sometimes I just don't catch them in time. If I catch them in time, I never have any problems. And I know how to handle them. They very rarely, apart from daycare, they don't have much interaction with other dogs outside. It's all about me and the kids engaging with them and playing with them. I don't really allow them to run up to other dogs. I'd rather them just stay with us. If we go to really, really busy places where there's a lot of dogs, I might, oh, let's just put them on the lead. Because I personally, if I've got 4 kids and I've got 2 dogs, I can't be racing around trying to get the dogs and then leaving a pram here, leaving a 4-year-old here and a 7-year-old over there. I need to try and keep everything in under control. So trust us. Sometimes we all can take our eye off the ball in certain little scenarios. Okay, we're all human at the end of the day. We're all going to make mistakes, but it's all about trying to learn from their mistakes as well and moving forward with them. Yeah. So I know I should know by now not to have any more children. I'm definitely not having any more children. That's a big mistake. No, I'm not. I think 4 is enough for anyone. No, but I know obviously if I've got 4 kids and I've got the 2 dogs, I'm not going to be letting them off in busy places. I'm going to be keeping them on lead and doing some lead work with them, working on them that way. I'll only let them off in quiet areas. If it's me and the dogs, then I'm more confident just to let them off wherever because I know I can engage more in games. I can do this with them. I can do that with them. But when you've got 4 kids alongside you who are literally screaming and running here, there, and everywhere, and you've got to keep your eye on them, there's no way I can keep my eye fully on the dogs as well. So for that reason, they stay on the lead. I do some lead work with them. In fact, actually, what I have been doing with the dogs recently is getting the kids to do some lead work with them as well. So Harvey and Darcy love walking Buddy and Bee, and they respond really, really well to them as well too. Obviously, I do it in quiet areas. I never do it near like main roads or anything like that, just around the park. But they absolutely love it, and it gets them involved with it as well too. The dogs then start to enjoy being around the kids. The kids do a little bit of training with them, so the dogs are still getting something fun out of the walk as well. It's not just right, you're staying on your lead, that's it, we're walking around, you need your walk. I still try and make it engaging for them. I still try and make it fun for them because obviously I want them to enjoy being out as well as the kids do. Yeah, so I make everyone work together. Sometimes I'll get the kids to lie down on the floor and then I'll get the dogs to jump over them, or I'll get the kids like doing like crab shapes and get the dogs to go underneath them as well. So I just try and make it as fun as possible. And that's what you've got to do in all scenarios. I don't know where I was going with this story, but it sounded really good anyway. So
But I guess, Tim, I mean for me, with Bronte particularly, when there's no distractions, and I think sometimes, you know, when I've done the videos before, when there's no distractions, she can be absolutely 100% spot on. And it's amazing. Her interaction engagement is amazing. She's so well behaved, but it's when the distractions start coming in. So I guess there's nothing wrong at those point in times in sometimes, you know, occasionally if you think she's not going to respond, if you get that body language that sort of says, I'm going to go, rather than come back to me, despite trying to utilize everything in our arsenal, to put her back on the lead. So that she, you know, to help with that sort of impulse control and that sense of, no, I can't just suddenly go over there. I'm going to have to go on the lead and behave.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I
as
mean,
well.
there's nothing wrong with that at all.
As long as we make it, whether she's on lead, whether she's off lead, she's having fun with us. That's what matters. We want to make sure that when they're on lead, when they're off lead, we're still their focus. We're still the ones that they're engaged with. We're still the ones that they're having fun with. Whether they're on lead, whether they're off lead, that doesn't matter. We are still their number one. The more we can do that, the less she's going to want to be pulling towards other dogs. And she's going to get her doggy fix anyway when she comes to daycare. So she'll have her
exactly.
fix. She doesn't necessarily, that's the way I look at it with the whips. I think you don't need your doggy fix because you're getting in a daycare anyway. And in all fairness, especially when it is just me and my dogs, excluding the kids at this stage, when it's just me and the dogs, they're not interested in anyone else because I'm doing more fun things with them. So they're more excited just to be with me because they know I've got the cheese, I've got the hot dogs, I've got something that they really, really want. Just now and then I'll bump into people that I know and they'll have a run around with their dog. A lot of the time, obviously, I bump into a lot of daycare owners. I'm like, go on and have a run around with that dog that you know. And they're absolutely fine. And the owners are always happy because the whips tire their dogs out by running around with them. So yeah, but the point is always having fun with your dog. The more you have fun with them, the more they're going to respond on lead. Okay?
Brilliant.
Cool. Did anyone else have any questions for us? No. I feel, Nicola, you're going to have to unmute yourself because you're the only one I haven't spoken to tonight. So you just need to unmute yourself so I can say hello, and then I'll feel happier. Hello, Nicola. How are you?
Very good. He's
Good.
just ears up.
No, has he? Oh, bless him. Well, I feel happier now that I've spoke to you all individually. So there we go. So a quick one as well before I let you go. I'll probably pop this in an email as well. But I think a couple of you are on the 5-day trick challenge that I'm doing at the minute. This is kind of going to be a little bit of a, so I'm going to try and do a few different tricks each day. Some of the a new trick each day. Some of the tricks might be something that I did in the first teleclass that we did. I'm then going to be doing a webinar on Monday night. It's going to be a very watered down version of the teleclass that we did. The purpose of it is to try and get some more members into the Sandance. I'm being completely honest with you. That's why I'm doing it, to get more people into the Sandance. So I'm going to kind of recap what we've done during the week, and then I'm going to try and get them to sign up to become a member of the Sandance group. So I need a favour from you, and I was wondering if you could put together a testimonial for us. Just what you've thought about being a member of the group. You can just email it over to us, because I'll pop that in the webinar that I do as well too. You're obviously more than welcome to join the webinar. Like I say, it is just a watered down version of what you have already had as well too. But if you did want to come in and just be like, yeah, Tim's amazing, we love Tim, everyone sign up, I'll be really happy with that as well too. So but no, if you could put together a testimonial, that would be really, really great. I would really, really love that as well. Okay, I'd really, really appreciate it. So there we go. So I'll let you get on then. If there's no other questions, obviously if there is, just let us know after. You can email us or pop it in the forum within the group as well. I am going to be getting an email out to you hopefully tomorrow regarding Joe and the T-Touch treatment, so you know a little bit more about what to expect with that. But I think it'll be really good and definitely worth signing up, logging into and coming to watch. I'll definitely be watching it. It will be recorded as well too, so if you're not able to make it live for whatever reason, it is going to be recorded as well, so you can catch up with it then, and then it'll be in the group for you to go back to and watch as many times as you want to. All right, and guys, the camera didn't break. Maybe this is a sign that I don't need a new laptop after all. I can guarantee I'll do my webinar on Monday night and it'll start like flickering again. I'll be, oh man. Right, we'll see. Well, I've got loads of interviews that I'm doing via Zoom tomorrow anyway. So I'll see how well it lasts tomorrow. It was obviously just behaving tonight. So right, guys, I'm going to let you crack on, and I'll look forward to catching up with you all soon. Keep up the great work. Yeah, I'll catch up with you soon. I think, well, the next thing we have planned is our next telecast at the end of the month. But obviously, if you are involved in the 5-day trick challenge as well, by all means, get involved in that. The first challenge was just a leg weave tonight. So it's not going to be like overly complicated tricks that we're doing, but you might learn something new as well. All right, enjoy your night, everyone, and I will see you all soon. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Tim.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.